In this consultation video, we are going to talk about our traditional and cinematic video package options. There's a lot to go through, so I'm going to kind of just move quickly since we're going to go through all the traditional packages and the cinematic packages. But before we do that, it's so very important to explain the differences. So let's actually kind of look at some of the verbiage that I have right in the package document. So let's flip this around, and just real quick, I always point out how we navigate here. We're on our video page, scrolling down to the pricing section here, clicking for more details. Okay, so this is, and again to point out, this is our version 2020A. So all of our packages are always identified in terms of what version they are, 2020A. So if you're looking at something online and it's anything different from that, just know that something may have changed since I recorded this video. But let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the traditional videography, the cinematic, the differences, and I always also like to go over how you can tell which style is right for you. So I'm going to read through this quickly. Our traditional video packages. The packages in this document represent options within our traditional style of videography. We define traditional videography as a style that utilizes traditional HD video camcorders and captures the day primarily in a documentary format. The equipment and style is appropriate for event videography, in which the goal is to capture full events, ceremonies, and reception events, and being able to view those events later as they happened. Now, traditional versus cinematic. Traditional style videography differs from cinematic style videography. Cinematic videography is a style that utilizes DSLR or mirrorless video cameras and lenses and captures parts and moments of the day primarily in a creative format. The equipment and style of cinematic videography is appropriate where the focus is less on capturing full events, but rather producing a shorter product with more creativity and higher aesthetic images. So which style is right for you? So here's some things that might let you know that you're leaning more towards the traditional. If you want to be able to relive your ceremony by hearing the full homily, hearing the readings by the readers, hearing the music that was played that day, etc., then the traditional style is for you. If you want to be able to relive your reception by seeing the full events, the introductions, the first dance, full parent dances, full cake cutting, the full speeches that took place, etc., and hearing the announcements and music that accompanied these events live, then the traditional style is for you. If you prefer that a videographer captures moments and details, both important and possibly not so important, and edits the footage into a long format DVD, then the traditional style may be right for you. And we just make a note here that this does not necessarily describe the economy package, which we'll talk about shortly when we go over the packages. But what is the cinematic, the type of style that you might be looking for? Well, if you only envision watching a creative edit of your day, something that's 6 to 12 minutes in length, that only showcases brief highlights from the most important moments of your events, then the cinematic packages might be right for you. If you want something that is more visually impactful at the expense of not capturing events in their entirety, then the cinematic package may be right for you. If you understand that a videographer is only going to get the footage of moments and details that have a chance of making its way into a shorter, creative video, then the cinematic packages may be right for you. So let's just briefly talk about a couple of those things, and then I want to get into the packages. So traditional videography, basically we send a videographer out there, and the approach is, well, with our economy package, we're just shooting events. But let's talk about the events. So with a traditional style videography, when it comes to events, the goal is to get the entire event from beginning to end. So your ceremony, it's capturing your entire ceremony without stopping, without moving around, without changing lenses. You're capturing the entire ceremony so you can see, the full procession, your procession, or the bride's procession, the opening prayers, the homily, readings, things like that, the full vows and rings, uninterrupted. Okay, that's traditional. And the same thing then would apply to the reception. The full introductions with the DJ's music, the DJ's announcement, the full cake cutting and the announcements leading up to it, the full first dance, the full parent dances. And if you want to be able to relive events and watch them in their entirety, that's traditional style videography. As we go with our packages, then of course we can shoot more things in between. But that's pretty easy to lean you towards the traditional style. With cinematic, the videographer's approach is going to be completely different. They're going to be more like a photographer, but instead of shooting digital stills, they're shooting digital video clips, okay, moving images. So, during an event like a ceremony, they might go over here and get a nice angle and get some footage, and then move over here and get a different angle and get some footage, and maybe try to then cut and get a reaction shot, so they have nice creative pieces to put a creative video together at the end. But you're talking about interrupted recording, stopping and starting. So you're not recording the live event. You can't go back and relive the full event via the video uninterrupted, because it's not recorded uninterrupted. So there's a different approach between shooting events for traditional and cinematic. When we do our traditional, really anything's up for grabs, whether it's important or not so important. When we're shooting details at, for example, like if the videographer is at your reception early and is getting details of the ballroom, anything can be shot and we can work it in. Whether it's the cookie table, some signage, the dinner, the centerpieces, the way that the table's laid out. Maybe there's some bows on the back of the chair, the gift table and things like that. But when it comes to cinematic, and you're taking a whole day and you're condensing it down into a creative video, really only the best of the best is going to make it into that video. So a cinematographer for a cinematic package is going to choose the things that have the highest likelihood of making it into the video, and then spend more time shooting those things to get nice moving shots and creative shots and things like that. So even in that, there is a difference in production. There's a difference in approach. So let's go ahead and get into the packages. Let's flip this around. All right, let's start with our traditional packages. I'm going to scroll all the way back to the top here. So we start with our economy package. Our economy package is pretty simple. If your intent for having your wedding day recorded for video is that you just want to make sure, I want my event, I want the ceremony, and I want my reception events, I want my introductions, I want my toast, I want my first dance, I want my parent dances, I want when we cut the cake. That's our economy package. Okay, our economy package is an event-only package to capture your ceremony as well as major reception events. Example, introductions, first dances, parent dances, cake cutting, speeches, bouquet, garter tosses, etc. Only events will get recorded, and only events will appear on the final product. There is no pre-ceremony. Anything that's not an event, there's no pre-ceremony, there's no going around just shooting details, open dance floor, guests just dancing and having fun. It's limited to specifically events. So, the package includes one lead videographer, everything's shot in 1080 HD production, 3 edited DVDs, the number 3 we've always used, 1 for the bride and groom, 1 for the bride's parents, 1 for the groom's parents. Up to 7-hour window. So that means a window of up to 7 hours to do these events. So if you have a 2 o'clock ceremony, then you will have, for example, the videographer up until 9 p.m. within this package to capture all the events that happen up until 9 p.m. If you have a 3 o'clock ceremony, then you would have, for example, your videographer up to do events, all the events that you're doing up until 10 p.m. We limit it to 2 locations. That's where the ceremony and reception takes place. And couples will say, oh, well, we're having our ceremony and reception at the same place. So does this mean that the videographer can come to the hotel while we're getting ready? Again, the economy package is an event-only package. We're just saying up to 2 locations for a traditional day where the ceremony is at one place and the reception's at one place. If your ceremony and reception are at the same place, then it's one location. Let's get back into this. Of course, a backup video camera, 2 wireless mics for the ceremony. We like to clip a wireless microphone on the groom's lapel and also have a second one available, usually at the podium where like readings and homilies being done, things like that. We'll also use a wireless microphone at the reception to capture audio from the DJ speaker system, so we have a clear, clean recording of music and announcements, toasts, things like that. Chapter markers and menu navigation is just part of when we make the DVD, so that you can skip from one event to the next. So, for example, you're watching the reception and it's introductions, you want to go right to the cake cutting, you can hit next chapter and move right to that. The online planning forms, all the planning, once you submit your contract and we process it, we create an online account for you to log in and access your online planning forms. that's where you put the information and requests about the videography. We have a guaranteed turnaround of up to 16 weeks. One thing in the Pittsburgh area that we kind of take pride in is that we do have a guaranteed turnaround. With video specifically, not too many companies out there have any time of guaranteed window of time. So we guarantee that within 16 weeks at the latest, that everything's 100% done and ready for you. That really comes down to the time of the year. There's certain times of year that we're way busier and we need more time. There's certain times of year that are slower and the turnaround's very quick. Weekly updates on your project. So what this means is that every week after your wedding, I have a page on our website that's for our clients to view where I update our progress. So the week of the wedding, before your wedding, I'll send you an email with that link, and then you should also then after the wedding receive, the first week after the wedding, receive an automated email with that link as well. But essentially what you'll see is you'll go click that link, you'll go to a page that I update every week, and it shows all the projects, photo and video, that we are working on. It shows what's being edited, its due date, what photo or video has just finished being edited. It is in the packaging stage, which means the editing's done, and now it's just in the process of being made ready for final delivery to the client. So again, it shows you which one's being edited, and then which one's next. You can see where your project falls, what the due date is, and then you can check back each week to see our progress that we're making. So that's how you can keep up to date on your project. And then of course it has the price for additional hours. Now our traditional standard, so we go from traditional economy to traditional standard. Our standard package allows for coverage beyond events. So for example, this would allow for getting ready footage, pre and post ceremony moments, cocktail hour, open dancing, etc. So this is events and everything in between. The package includes everything in the economy package plus extended time, so up to 10 hours. So now your window of time, instead of being up to 7 hours, is up to 10 hours. In addition to your 3 DVDs, you also get a Blu-ray. You also get a raw footage DVD, and we allow then up to 4 locations. And then real quick, let me just go over the raw footage DVD. So with the standard package, we're shooting events, and then we're also recording everything in between, which I call candid activity. Getting ready, picture taking, cocktail hour, dancing, things that aren't necessary events, but candid activity where we go get a little bit of footage here, get a little bit of footage there, get some details here, get some footage here, and then we have to edit it together, make sense out of it, put music to it, and things like that. All of that candid activity, all the stuff in between the events, is what will be on the raw footage DVD. Your events won't be on the raw footage DVD because you're already seeing them in their entirety. So an easy example to understand is your first dance. On your main DVD, your entire first dance will be there, so there's nothing that is missing that needs to go on the raw footage DVD. But everything that we shoot, little candid moments, and then have to chop up, edit, and things like that, all that footage would be on the raw footage DVD. Lastly, we get into our traditional deluxe package. So this package includes everything in the standard package plus a highlight of the day. As an additional feature on your Blu-ray and DVDs, footage of your entire day will be edited into one artistic and creative video, retelling the unique story of your day. Highlights are typically between 3 and 4 minutes in length and edited to a single song. Highlight will also be posted online for easy sharing. So, real quick to recap. Economy, events only, up to 7-hour window to capture those events. Standard package, up to 10 hours, so you have more time, a larger window for capturing things. And then, of course, the things in between the events will be captured, and all those things will be edited and appear on your DVD. Then finally, the deluxe package, where you'll still have that long format DVD, the events, the candid moments in between, but then we'll also edit a highlight video, usually 3, 4, 5 minutes in length, that condenses the whole day down into a highlight video. The highlight video will appear on your DVD and Blu-rays, as well as we'll post a version online for you so you can share online with friends and family through simple email, text, social media, things like that. We have a la carte add-on options such as a second videographer. If you need a second videographer in a second location, we offer that. If you need additional DVDs and Blu-rays, we offer that. I also have terminology here, so everything that I kind of just went through is re-explained here. There's some frequently asked questions. How long is it average DVD? Can I pick my own music? Do I get to choose my videographer? Will the videographer get messages from my guests at the reception? And what is the difference between traditional and cinematic? We already discussed this, and of course the answers to these other questions are right here. And then just to recap, that third page is what we went over, where we discussed the difference between traditional and cinematic. So let's hop right into the cinematic packages. Our cinematic packages, we keep them simple in the naming: cinematic level 1, cinematic level 2, and cinematic level 3. Cinematic level 1, a one lead cinematographer for up to 8 hours. So you have an 8-hour window in the planning. We will work with you to kind of maximize. We'll offer suggestions down the stretch to basically, once you've filled out your planning form and we know the details of the day, I will personally work with you to make the best plan to utilize and maximize that 8 hours. I'll work with you to say, let's start a little bit earlier because there's not as much going on later in the evening. We're just going to get footage that we don't necessarily need for the highlight, or redundant footage. But if we start earlier, there's a lot more things we get. I'll work with you on that, so you don't have to, that's something that you don't have to know up front. But you have an up to 8-hour window, and we make a beautiful 5 to 6 minute highlight video done in a cinematic style. Level 2, basically you get a second cinematographer. So if you really want to amp this up and you want the lead, now we go from 8 to 8.5. So we give you an extra half an hour. So we extend the day a little bit on that lead cinematographer, but we also give you a second person for up to 5 hours. So that second person with that 5-hour window, generally what that's going to do is that if you want one with the girls, one with the guys at the beginning of the day, 2 at the ceremony spot, 2 angles, but also even like this final moments, one, out there at the ceremony site ready for the ceremony, but one still maybe with the bride for those last few seconds, things like that. After the ceremony, one going straight to cocktail hour or to the reception area to get beautiful detailed shots of the cake and the room and the decorations, while one's with the bridal party while they're doing pictures. That's kind of what you're getting out of that 5 hours. So you get a lot more footage to work with. We got to pay that second person, and now we have a ton more footage to go through from the 2 people and a lot more editing to do. But you also get what we call an extended highlight. So instead of being a 5 to 6 minute highlight, it's going to be edited in a little bit more of a feature length highlight, about 8 to 10 minutes in length. And then the third level, you still have that lead cinematographer. We go up from 8 to 8.5, down 9 hours, so it's a longer day. You have the second cinematographer still for up to 5 hours. You still get that 8 to 10 minute highlight video. But the main thing here with the level 3, you also get a DVD of your event done in a traditional style. So essentially what's going to happen is the lead cinematographer is going to have an assistant with him. He's going to have a lot of equipment. He's going to have his cinematic equipment, and he's going to have traditional equipment. So there's a lot of equipment in play here. He'll have an assistant. So during the event, you will get your events recorded in their entirety, like someone doing the traditional economy package. So it's really basically doing sort of the cinematic level 2 and the traditional economy package. So this is for someone that just wants it all. They want the cinematic style. They want 2 people shooting creative footage. They want everything covered. They want a beautiful highlight video. But at the same time, they still also want to be able to relive their events in their entirety, shot in a traditional documentary style. So a lot of equipment involved, a lot's going on, extra people involved, and a lot extra editing involved as well. So that's the level 3. All packages include highlight delivered digitally on USB, a blog on our website with the online version of your highlight, the online planning forms, which we talked about, the guaranteed turnaround, the weekly updates, and the additional hours of coverage, which we've talked about those things. Again, the same FAQ. The only other one to go over is, will there be drone footage in my cinematic video? So with the drone stuff, because it's changed a lot over years, we have to have, when it comes to running a business and doing someone's wedding, we have to have an approach and a policy that it can apply every day, every weekend, to every wedding. So with our cinematic packages specifically, our cinematographer will have a drone with him, but we cannot guarantee its use. First of all, there has to be an appropriate something visually there to launch a drone and shoot that's worthwhile, putting the regular camera down and going and powering up the drone and spending a few minutes doing that at the expense of not shooting something else for a few minutes. So is there something worth doing a drone shot. But really the more important thing is safety and regulations and FAA regulations. FAA regulations that we can't fly drones if airports are nearby, or even private, like small local landing strips. There's a lot involved with that. We can't, we're not going to break rules in terms of flying drone over people. And the other thing is weather. We can't control the weather. If it's raining or if it's too windy, we can't fly the drone. So we don't charge the cinematic packages. The cinematographer will be equipped with it and will use it if able. But we don't charge extra for it because we can't guarantee it because of those circumstances. So our policy is what I just discussed, to make sure that it's fair to everyone, so that no one's paying extra. And if it's able to be used, it will be used. And if the rules and regulations say that we can't use it on your date, those will be the reasons that it doesn't get used. So I think that's as fair as we can be about that, so that everybody has the same opportunity, at least, or policies dictating that going into it. So anyways, I'll wrap it up there. This has been a long consultation video, but with video there's a lot to go through. Traditional, cinematic, there are differences. Traditional has its packages, cinematic has its packages. Hopefully you know which one you want, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call. Shoot us an email. Thanks.